I'm heading out on an overnight cycle tour. Tonight I'm spending the night at Queen Camel down in South Somerset. More specifically, I'm camping. I've got a grade 1 listed 14th century church all to myself tonight. It's got lots of points of interest, but I guess its main claim to fame is the heaviest peel in the world. Up in the bell tower is 6 tons worth of bells. It's coming up. Because I'm climbing up over the Mendips on this trip, I've taken the easy way out of Bath to Radstock. I've followed the old Somerset and Dorset Railway, which is relatively flat, and at Radstock it splits. You may just see the 5 arches viaduct, that's where I hyperlapsed it, going up that way to cross the Mendips, and this is the old GWR through to Bristol line, which I'm going to take for another few miles before I start the gradual climb up onto the Mendips. I wanted to show you this point because this is a part of the old Fossway running from Exeter, many miles that way, to Lincoln, many miles this way. And although parts that are utilised by the main roads, even to this day, many parts are so steep, the modern road just doesn't use it. It curves round and to ease the gradient into the edges of hills. This is a classic part of the Fossway where it comes from Westfield. You may just see above the top of the trees there, some buildings. Westfield comes straight down. And here we go. It goes straight up here. That's the Fossway, ladies and gentlemen. And then it drops down very steeply to Clandown. Back up. Peasdown St John. Down to Dunkerton. The modern road snakes round. That's steep enough. But the Fossway just goes straight up and joins it just before the top of Wales way into Bath. And it drops down in the Holloway. This section of the Fossway is so hard to ride. It's like a roller coaster up and down. It's quite windy as I approach the Ston Eastern turning. It'd be a good chance to test my experiment with this foam as a wind muff on the module part of the camera. Right hand turn here. This is part of the climb up onto the Mendip Plateau. This is between Ston Eastern and Chewton Mendip. It's not one of the big famous roads like Cheddar Gorge or Barrington Combe, Ebber Gorge, but I like this ascent. It's much more gradual. Approaching Chewton Mendip, and then we'll start the final drag up onto the Mendips. There's the Mendip transmitter there above Wells. We're going to be plunging off steeply down into Wells. I'm now approaching my highest point on the Mendips. This is coming up to Stock Hill. Do you remember me telling you on the last video when I was at Uphill that I once rode what I believe would be very close to Margreaves 45B. It's a Roman road which ran from Sarum, many miles that way, to the lead mines up at Chartrace on West Mendip Plateau, just up there a couple of miles. And this B road here was actually part of that route until I cut over that hill there. And then the modern road curves round to easy gradient. The Roman road went straight up through those woods, that Stock Hill Woods. I'm going to be going up to a crossroads up here and then turning left and cutting down through Stock Hill Woods towards Wells. And that is the Wells transmitter there, overlooking Wells. I'm at the far corner of Stock Hill Woods now. This is the road I've just come down. And I said Margreaves 45B came through Stock Hill Woods. It actually went over there towards Castle Comfort Pub and then eventually joins on to what is this modern B road. His known destination is the Roman lead mines that were up at Chartrace a couple of miles that way. As I said on that film, some people think it continued down to a possible Roman port at Uphill, but not all historians agree. But up here there's lots of straight roads and very, very right angled crossroads, and I suspect a lot of these are Roman roads. That there is now a private residence, but that used to be a pub called the Miners' Arms. Hang on to that thought, and then we're going to carry on down here, roll us straight, as you can see, to the Hunter's Lodge. This is the Hunter's Lodge public house and restaurant high up on the West Mendip Plateau, near Priddy that way, and Wells is that way. You can see just how bleak and barren it is up here. The pub itself looks quite forbidding from outside. It's ever so cosy, does really good beer and food inside, I can assure you. I said earlier on about Margreaves 45B, the lead road running from Old Sarum many miles that way to running to Chartrace just that way where there were Roman lead mines. But crisscrossing the Mendips here are all these straight roads. And this is one of them. These are almost certainly Roman roads as well that were running off or into Margreaves 45B. And this is an old coaching road from the 1800s. And it ran from Wells, down there where we're going to go, to Bristol. And it really is a roller coaster road. And it's so exposed up here. There's all these pubs. There's this one, the Hunter's Lodge. Back there, I pointed out the Miners' Arms. I went in there when I was in my teens, so it's not been shut that long. And then as it dips down, the final brutal climb just before it drops down into Bristol is Dundry Hill. And there's a pub there as well. So you can see there's all these places of refuge along here. And today gives you a perfect example of why you'd probably need it. You won't want to get stuck up here after dark. As I said, I came out from Bath using old railway lines to sort of like just make the first part of the ride a bit easier. No brainer really. And then did my gradual climb up to here. We're going to go a couple of miles along there. Then it's a sheer drop down into Wells. Then we'll snake through Wells, get on yet another old railway line, which will then take us over the Somerset levels, and I'll change direction. I'll start heading due south then. Drop down on the precipitous old Bristol Road coming into Wells. Here we are, joining the modern road network. On the course of the former Wells to Shepton Mallet Railway, I believe. now a bit of a main road. This is great. 1 minute you're next to that main road and now you're on the former track bed. This is quite a nice way to leave Wells. You actually come to a Morrison's car park. We're now leaving Wells on what used to be the Wells to Shepton Mallet Railway. And you may hear just over that way the main road running parallel to us. So we're avoiding the main road. This is a big direction change. We go along here about a mile or so and then we start turning right, which in effect will be due south down towards Queen Camel. To give you an idea of the location, it's near RNAS Yeovilton, quite close to Yeovil really. I'm on these lovely lanes heading down. It looks like I'm heading towards Glastonbury Tor, but I'm going to cut across a busy road just before that at West Pennard, and that's going to take me down due south, basically heading towards Queen Camel. Alcohol is perfectly okay champing. They quite often supply wine glasses, coffee cups, that sort of thing. I've actually bought my own plastic wine glass, and I know in Queen Camel, because I Google mapped it, did a street view, there's a Premier store literally 200 yards down the road, so I'd probably be able to get a bottle of wine there, and if not wine, then probably some cans of beer or even cider depending on my mood, but I actually quite fancy some sparkling wine tonight. I love finding place names that I'm just not familiar with. How's that for a great place name? Hornblottom. About 10 miles north of my destination, St Barnabus Church, Queen Camel. I was so taken with the name Hornblottom. I was going through the village thinking I need some lunch and I saw a sign saying church. So I turned down this lane, about a quarter of a mile, saw two ladies, said is a church nearby? I said yeah, just left down that track. This is what I'm on, and they said it is open, so that's going to be my late lunch stop. Oh, this is wonderful. Not even got to church yet. It's just one of those moments I was thinking I need some lunch, and I'm less than an hour from my accommodation and it's still quite early. Wow, I'd have just never found this if I wasn't just at the right moment. Where I've come, and this is just one of those magic bits of cycle touring where the right places come at the right time. They said to me it's open as well. So St Peter's Church, Hornblottom. I'm getting quite peckish, I really need some lunch. Oh, look at this, this is nice. Seat there, I think I'm going to have to sit in the porch, keep out the wind. There's an old structure there, look. Remains of something. This is just the joys of cycle touring. I'd have just ridden by this if I wasn't looking for somewhere out the wind to have some lunch. I think that weather vane up there has got 1873 carved into it. The seat outside is sheltered from the wind enough. It's warm enough to sit and have my lunch. Look at that lovely sandstone. Stone roof tiles. I'm going to go inside and have a look. I've taken my hat and my glasses off. Wow. When leaving, please make sure the door is shut. Yeah, certainly will do. How nice. Come in by the bell tower. Font there. The nave, wooden pulpit and lectern, and then as usual the chancel up a few steps. Pipes of the organ there, and the altar. Wow. Gosh, look at all the pigmented walls. That's an interesting pulpit, wooden, and they're on a stone platform with a modern plug sockets. Oh, this is really nice. Not quite as remote as you would think. The last visitor was yesterday from Pilton, and 3 days before, so it seems to be every few days. I'll add my name quickly. The arrangement I've got with my point of contact at St Barnabus tonight is I said I'll be there between 4 and 5 p.m, around about 5. The arrangement is the church is open to the public between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. every day, so you can get there whenever you want. It's just you won't have the church to yourself until after 4 p.m. So I said about 5 p.m. I really want to try and be there for about 5, you know, out of politeness really. And also it's getting dark early in the evenings now. I want to get sorted in the light so I can, you know, just chill out with some wine later on as it darkens. But I don't want the chap sort of hanging around sort of thinking, oh, you know, he said he'd be at 5 and where is he? I just remember once when I was doing my World War I pillbox tour around the coast of East Anglia, I'd been wild camping and I was going to wild camp on the beach, and I suddenly saw this sign saying campsite. I thought, oh great, I can dive in there and have a shower. And I turned up, sort of went to where it was signposted the reception. It's just basically a caravan near the entrance. I said, you know, can I camp for the night? And he just went, oh, we're just about to sit down and have our meal. Have you booked? So I said, no, I'm just riding by and I saw it signposted. And he sort of said, oh, well, it does say on the website you need to book. And I was quite close to said, don't bother, I'll go and camp on the beach. And he went sort of, and he showed me around. I really was quite desperate for a shower, so it was nice, but it left a bit of an impression. In fact, I think he must have felt a bit bad about it afterwards, because about an hour later he came over and sort of, you know, it's quite friendly, sort of said, oh, is there anything we can do for you? Any devices you like charging overnight? So, but it left an impression on me, you know. I don't want this chap sort of about to sit down and eat his meal, waiting around for me, wondering where I am. What a wonderful find. So ad hoc and unexpected and unplanned. I remember this place, St Peter's Church, Hornblotton. Beautiful. Just a few hundred yards down this track, then about 3/4 of a mile back that way, get back en route heading south. Back down at the road, Hornblotton Church only, and I came along there, turned left up this bend, so I need to retrace back that way half a mile or so and then carry on heading down towards Queen Camel. I've just realised where I am. I normally come up here on a DIY Audax from the other direction. I often stop and look at that watermill. Castle Kerry, Bad Kerry, this way. 8.1 miles to go and it's 3:45, so that gives me an hour and a quarter. That should be ample time to go to the store, get myself some chocolate and some wine. As I home in on my destination down these wonderfully quiet lanes, I've just spotted a weather vane. Let's see if I can zoom in up there. It's a camel. My destination is Queen Camel, and the area is known as the Camel Valley, as in Camelot. There's lots of places with camel in its name. Not to be confused with the River Camel down in Cornwall. The actual river here is just called the Cam, C-A-M. And it actually flows right past the north of the church. So I'm not quite sure where the camel part from it comes. Gosh, that's even got palm trees on it, look. That's a great weather vane. And a few yards on, at the same house, Elm Cottage, Camel Crossing. 3.3 miles to go. Just coming up to a main road by the look of it. Straight over. Bit of a hiccup. My route was going straight on across the A303, which is a very busy road, but they're widening it there, and all the roads are out of action at the moment, so I had to go onto a busy A303 single carriageway for about half a mile. I did it in stages, pulled in every time I felt there's a big queue of traffic behind me. Eventually found a right hand turn street point there. So looking at the GPS, you can see I'm running parallel to where I should be. So I've just come along here, a bit higher up, but the road I should be on is down in that dip below this ridge. You can see all the wonderful hills there I'm familiar with, north of Sherborne, Camelot Castle up there, South Cadbury. So we're at some point I've got to turn right and drop back down there. The reason I like my old GPS, and I always carry two these days, this one is there telling me the cursor there is where I am, the bold line is where I should be, and it's telling me, look, you should be over to the right. So common sense just says the first right hand turn I see, take it, and then it'll gradually home in as I hit that track. This one, the more modern version, doesn't give you anywhere near as many clues. That's a lot more guesswork, that one, which is why I really like this one. Dropping down this rough track now, very close to Queen Camel. The church tower I've just seen from a distance up on the hill, I think that's probably St Barnabus. You can see the scales changing now, and it's now the arrows pointing the direction I'm going. The faint line is where I am, and the cursor, so I'm heading down to that bold line. So I'm guessing I'm going to come down here and join the road I should have been on, turn left, and then I'm virtually there. The other thing that will happen with this one is the scale's starting to change already. As I approach my course, a homing circle will start forming. At first it'll be small around the cursor, then as I approach that it'll become bigger. Then as I hit that, you'll just get a ping, and that off course will suddenly say on course. And voila, can you see? Around the cursor is a very small circle, and as I approach that, that circle would literally expand out till I hit that line, and then it go ping. And there's the big circle expanded, can you see? And that's going to be my road. I'll try and film it as I get to that main road. There you go, just doing it ping. That's my church, I believe. I'm actually going to ride down the pavement here, and I think this is the bridge across the River Cam. There's the River Cam, there's a school, and there's my church with 6 tons of bells up in the tower. I'm just going to overshoot the church, go down to stores, get my bottle of wine. Okay, I've just got myself a bottle of wine here, some Prosecco, some chocolate. I've got myself an ice cream, going to walk back to the church. I'm just going to take this curved track called Church Path, hoping that'll cut the corner off. Just enjoying this ice cream. To get off that main road, I've taken this cobbled street called Church Path. And look at that, what an amazing approach to the church. 10 to 5. Eating an ice cream, ice lolly. What an amazing way to arrive at your destination. Going round just trying to work out which one the main door is. I think it's probably that one with the pillars. There's no porch there. I've walked around, cut the corner of the main road off, up the cobbled church path, got to what I think is the main door with the pillars at the back, just rung my contact, no answer, and I literally just put the phone down and he's called me back. He said, I'll just take my Wellingtons off and I'll be with you in 5 minutes. So I think he's in his garden. But hey, look at this. It's actually quite quiet here considering there's that busy road round there. Quite a big churchyard as well. Paul just leaving. He's locked that door. He's shown me how to get out tomorrow. I've got a key for a door in the chancel if I want to go out tonight, and I will be. I'll spending the evening out in the churchyard on one of those seats. This is the kitchen area. He did bring me some milk. I've just told him I don't drink milk, so he's taking it back to use himself. Coffee, tea, squash. Left me a bit of cake. It's microwave, cooking facilities, running water, hot water which is on, toaster. So all the lights for the church. So he came in that way. He's locked me in with that massive key. Shown me how to get out there tomorrow. There's the font. This is my bedding area. Bought me sleeping bag and everything. Blankets there. Some lights there by the look of it. Guidebooks there. And he said to me, because the theft of lead is on the increase in churches, they've alarmed the roof. Very, very occasionally a bird or a spider might set it off. He said it hasn't happened for weeks and weeks. So he's told me if it does go off, say at 3 o'clock in the morning, don't be alarmed. Oh, excuse the pun. He will get an automatic phone call from the alarm people. He will come down, let himself in, whatever time of the day or night it is, disable the alarm and reset it. All I've got to do is just basically wait, and don't be surprised if the door opens and he comes in. But he says it's very, very rare. So my entrance is through the chancel. And I've got a key for this door. There's no lights in here, he said, but I've got my head torch and everything, which is why I wanted to get here while it was still light so I can get myself organised. But the nave itself is fairly well lit, isn't it? It's very big. It's a very big church, and he was telling me there used to be a lot of important people lived around here, and so it represents that. I asked Paul about the link between the River Cam and Camel, and he said it's nothing to do with the river, it's actually to do with a ridge up there, he was saying, which is called the Camel Ridge, which is, I guess, that's the way I came in, because I came in on higher ground before I dropped down. And of course that's where I saw the camel weather vane, the camel crossing, and he was saying this used to be called, I think, West Camel, until a couple of 100 years ago when the Queen visited, and then they renamed it Queen Camel. But the link with camel is to do with the ridge, not the river. Paul also said to me, the bells go off every hour, and I said, I know that, I heard them. He said they're very loud outside, but you hardly hear them inside. And it's just rung now, 5:30, and I barely heard them. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. There's no fridge here, so I've just filled a wash it up bowl full of cold water, and I'm soaking my wine in that. I won't waste that water. When I've finished in a couple of hours time, I'll take it outside and empty it by one of the trees out there. This is wonderful. That was my chocolate I've just bought. Right, I think time to get changed and get my bed made up. I've just moved my camp bed up next to that seat. I'm a side sleeper, and I do tend to move to and fro during the night, so I don't want to risk falling off that. I've put the blanket underneath me. I don't think I need a sleeping mat. I've still got my summer sleeping bag. This is the Snug Pack Softy 3. It's got a comfort rating down to 5 and a low rating of 0. I'm not going to even need the liner tonight. I bought it just in case it was a cold church, but it's very warm in here. And also the temperature's not supposed to drop below about 13, even at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it's there in case I need it during the night, but I don't think I will. I want my Trekology inflatable pillow. So that's my sleep system. It's really nice talking to Paul, because I was able to ask him about the connection between Cam and Camel. I didn't know that. I was actually going to get the internet up and look it up tonight. And also he's telling me about the champing, and I sort of said my interest is purely historical really. I like history, and I'm getting to actually love these old buildings. They're like time capsules for me. And he sort of said they've only started champing in this church this year, and I was sort of kind of aware of. I found out about this church on one of the newsletters I get because I've signed up to the Churches Conservation Trust and the champing homepage, and it did say there were some new churches this year, and I saw this one, and then as I've been doing these Somerset churches, I just thought what a great way to finish the pilgrimage, for want of a better word, to come here. So I told him my interest is sort of history, and I just love church buildings. I'm getting to love the architecture actually. He was saying they've only just started this year, but they've had quite a few people already. They had some academics, a professor, they've had retired couples, they had a couple on a tandem, they had a young teenager who saw something about champing on TV, and he sort of said, "Hey Dad, that's your sort of thing, why don't we do that together?" And they came just to see what it's like, and Paul said they seem to really enjoy it. And so, just nice to hear who else sort of comes really. And he did ask me if I'd sign the visitor's book, and I'll make sure I do that before I go tomorrow. So my plan is to light up these lanterns. I think that's what they are, lanterns, yeah. Oh, yeah. Have those on either end of a seat out there, the bench, as the sun goes down, with a glass of wine. As I said, I'm trying to get everything organised for later on. Put my toiletries in the toilet. Oh, let's turn that lamp out. I'll be taking it outside later on. There's all my electronic stuff, recharging. Clothes there, just airing out, and I've got my clean clothes for tomorrow, clothes for later on. Just need to find my head torch. 6:20, and you can see the sun going down over there. Just sat outside in the churchyard as it darkens, just about to open my bottle of wine. Just really enjoyed the experience. So lots of points of interest from this church, but that tower, it said, has the heaviest peal of bells in the world. I looked it up last night, and it says there's over 6 tons of bells up there. Oh, by the way, I won't be sleeping right underneath them. It's now 9:30 and it's still very, very mild out in the churchyard. I've got my jacket on, but I hardly need it whatsoever. I can't get over how many tractors are still going by with really powerful headlights and flashing orange lights. You can hear all this agricultural work going on in the background. And also there's a lot of aerial noise from what sounds like military aircraft, because we're very close to RNAS Yeovilton. So it's just wonderful, just sat here actually, just enjoying the moment actually, enjoying my wine, really savouring the champing experience. Gonna wander around the churchyard now and try and show you some of the lights. The church itself is, you can just about see the outline of it against the dark sky, and then there's these areas of light where the light from inside's coming through the opaque windows and also the stained glass windows. So I'll try and give you a tour of that now and see if it's coming out. Can you hear the military aircraft up there? Helicopter by the sound of it. well-lit chancel around midnight, the altar, organ, pews, heading back through the screen into the well-lit nave. Okay, I'm just going to start switching everything off. All I've got now is my camera light on, and I've got my head torch just to see where I'm going to my bed. I cannot tell you how mild it is in here. It is so warm, it really is. There's my bed for the night. Just put my phone, a couple of things I'm recharging next to the bed on the chair, including this camera actually. Just going to plug that into the charge. I'll say good night. Good night.